6 days in Sydney. We're heading down to Melbourne via Jetstar. Woo! Here we go. So on to the next place and our last stop in Australia. And then we're heading to New Zealand. So we'll see you guys in Melbourne. Hey, what's going on guys from Melbourne, Australia? Chelsea and I just got down here last night where we flew domestic from Sydney Airport down to Melbourne. It was just over 1 hour to fly down here. And to be honest, it was pretty crazy of a flight for the reason being that when you looked out the window for almost the whole ride, you could see the clouds mixed with some smoke. So yeah, it's a pretty scary time for Australia at the moment. And so hopefully these fires are gonna be under control sooner than later. But on another note though, we'll go ahead and show you what our experience was. We took Jetstar down and we wanna share with you what the experience was. So guys, we just made it to Melbourne. We took Jetstar. So I think it's important to mention if you take Jetstar, they're gonna nickel and dime you and they're gonna make sure they do. So every kilo you go over, which is 2.2 pounds, they're gonna charge you for it. And they're even gonna weigh your carry-ons at most of the airports too. So what I would do if you're looking to find the cheapest way to travel around Australia, definitely look at each carrier's baggage policies and also Google like how strict they actually are with them. Because some airlines I've been on in other places in the world, they say they're really strict and then you get to the airport and they're lenient, but Jetstar, they will make sure you pay every possible way. That basically made our fares cost just as much as a nicer airline. So it's important to know that and make sure to look that up when you're doing your flight research. And then also depending on which airport you fly into in Melbourne, we flew into Avalon and we have to take basically a 24 Australian dollar 1 hour bus ride to get into the city. And so there's multiple airports you can fly into. Look at that first and take all of that into consideration before buying your flights, because you might think you're getting a great deal and then by the end you're really not. So we're in line here for the City Express. This one is 24 Australian dollars to get you into the city, and you can get a round trip ticket for 46. It saves you about 4 Australian. You can also take an Ola, and I looked that up and it's about 90 Australian dollars. So if you have, like I probably would say minimum 4 people, it might be cheaper and quicker to do that. Good news is we made it onto the bus. We didn't have to wait too long, only about 8 minutes for the next one to come. And now we have about a 1 hour drive into the city. And we made it downtown. So we're taking one more means of transportation, either a tram or a bus, and then we'll be at our hostel. And then we'll show you guys Melbourne tomorrow.
Alright guys, so a couple cool facts about Melbourne is that it's actually one of the biggest cities in the world by area. So it's about, what, 3,000 square miles? Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's got almost 5 million people. And so today we are going to try to navigate through all of those people and check out and show you guys some of the top things to do here in Melbourne. And not only things to do, of course, but also food. But first, coffee. Melbourne is actually said to have some of, if not the best coffee in the entire world. So we are on our way actually to one of the top coffee spots here in Melbourne. We're super excited to check it out, show you guys, and try some. So let's go. Alright guys, so we just got to Industry Beans, which after doing some research is supposed to be one of the top spots to get coffee here in Melbourne. It not only has an area where they make the coffee, but they also have a training area here for baristas, which is really cool. One of the reasons why we chose it. Just ordered our coffees. I got a long black with milk and Mac got an iced latte, so we're super excited to try them. And then they also have a nice food selection. The prices are about medium, I'd say $2 to $3 signs. I got an omelet, Mac got some eggs and bacon.
As Chelsea mentioned, we're in the coffee capital of the world, so I'm excited to see if it actually is world best. Oh yeah, you can tell it's a strong coffee. That's gonna have us wired all day long. A fair amount of milk mixed in with the coffee. I like it. This is a good latte. This is a great latte.
Just got my coffee, and it actually came with water as well as milk, which I've never gotten my coffee at least delivered to me in this way. That's good coffee.
So guys, we just finished up a nice caffeine break to get us ready to explore more of Melbourne today. And the food was great too. It was a classic Aussie breakfast, so the fuel we needed to get us ready to go to our next spot, which we'll be heading about 25 minutes away via foot, where we're gonna head down to the CBD. And no, we're not going to smoke or get high or anything. CBD is the Central Business District. That's how they identify a lot of the downtown areas in Australian cities. So we'll be heading to CBD Melbourne.
So our next stop, which is in the CBD, is one that I'm not gonna tell you exactly what it is, but let's just say it might be haunted. Dun,
All
dun,
right.
dun.
We'll see you guys there. Let's go.
Okay, so we are now about halfway to our next destination, the potentially haunted one. And we just wanted to stop and show you guys, we are actually right in front of the Melbourne Museum. And Melbourne actually has a lot of different museums, galleries, etc., etc. So if that's your thing, definitely look them up and check them out. Okay, so we just got to our next stop, this potentially haunted one. And unfortunately, a part of it is actually already closed. So we are going to come back and try again when everything is open so we can get the full experience. So we'll show you that later on in the video.
So guys, we're in front of Flinders Street Station here. This is the first station in all of Australia, which is quite unique because it is really old. It's from just before the 1900s, and I believe 18 something, I can't remember. It's definitely postcard worthy. Well, that's because it already is on a lot of postcards. That's probably where you recognize it, from Melbourne, Australia. So come walk by this place, it's really cool to see.
All right, so we are now here at our next stop in Melbourne, Federation Square. So Federation Square is this huge square you can see behind me, where there will be public events, concerts, things like that held. It's also surrounded by restaurants and bars, and a lot of places where on a beautiful day like this, you can just sit outside and enjoy the weather. They even have the US Open actually playing on big screens above us, and people are just sitting, enjoying, watching the US Open. So it's a really cool place to check out, especially if you're looking for a drink or bite to eat, and maybe keep an eye on any events or things going on here while you're in town.
So guys, the next place we just got to is right by the Yarra River. So walking down it, there's a bike path and a walking path, and basically there's restaurants all along the way, and you can see some pretty cool views of the city. So definitely something you want to come and do. And if you're as unlucky as me, you will be getting eaten by flies like I am. That's the one downside being over here, is there are a lot of flies constantly making me do the Aussie salute, which is what they call swatting the flies all the time. We're gonna go walk down, see what else is down here. Also, if you do a boat tour, this is where a lot of them pick you up. So you'll find your different bays where they pick up on both sides of the river. So we walked a little bit further down, guys, and there are more and more restaurants, like with really cool experiences. The one that's right behind me, you can kind of see it right behind my ear there. It's actually a restaurant sitting right under the bridge. So there's like so many different cool experiences. We haven't had the food, so we don't know how good the food is, but it's in a pretty trendy area, so it's pretty cool to see.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. Okay, everyone, I'm ready. Yes. Okay, let's do it. Come on, make some noise. Yes, I got it. Wait.
So it's pretty interesting. We've been walking through the city and doing quite a bit of people watching just to kind of get an idea of, you know, what the daily life looks like. And I read a statistic, 1/3 of the population here is either from another country or their parents are from another country. And you can really get that feeling, like it is such a multicultural city. I would say we have seen more international people than we've seen Australians for the most part, at least just from like walking down the street. So it's really your definition of a multicultural city. So that part's pretty cool. Like everywhere you walk, you'll see someone of every single different race. For almost 5 million people in this city, you sure can find some peace and quiet quite easy walking down in these parks. It's like 6 p.m. right now and there's not too many people besides Melbourne's most active, which are people ranging from the age of probably mid-20s all the way up to 70s sprinting through the park.
So we just made it to the Royal Botanic Gardens. We just walked in. It looks so beautiful. It's really peaceful, especially as Mac was just saying, with the city having so many people. You really can't tell, at least right now, on this beautiful Wednesday afternoon. So we're excited to walk around and explore and just take it all in.
All right guys, we just figured out why there's so many runners over here. We're currently on the 10. It basically surrounds like the gardens over here. So everyone runs around it and it's about 2.4, just under 2.4 miles around this whole thing. And we just came across it because we were looking at the fastest time, which is like 10 minutes and 5 seconds to go like 2.4 miles. So it's pretty crazy. If you're a runner, you might want to stop by here and see if you can beat that record because it hasn't been beat since 2006. I must say, one thing that I really do like about Australia is in all of the big cities that I've been to, they all have public skate parks, and in some cities multiple around the city, which is really nice. As a previous skateboarder back when I was in like middle school, we didn't have the luxury of having too many skate parks available, so we were always forced to go practice our sport on either like school staircases or corporate buildings that had nice areas where you could skateboard on, which now being a little bit older, I understand why businesses don't want you destroying their stuff. But that being said, you know, it is a sport, so it's nice that the city recognizes that and then provides really nice skate parks. Like, and I'm talking about a really, really big skate park, if you can see it in the background kind of. So that part is really nice. If you're a skateboarder, you're gonna love it in Australia because there's skate parks everywhere for you.
So we are currently in Hosier Lane, which is actually a designated area for street art, which you can see all around me. It not only gives street artists, which we actually have one in action right behind me, which is pretty cool. It not only gives them a place to display their art, but it is also meant to encourage maybe those not so professional as the one behind me to not do it in other places, tagging, you know, random buildings or sidewalks or things like that. It gives them a place where they can really harness the art, and then it turns into this incredible lane to walk down. We imagine that you walk down this street every different time, it's gotta look different.
And one more thing is we walked past this place around maybe 2 p.m. and it was loaded with people. Now we're here just before 8 p.m. when the sun's going down and there are way less crowds. So obviously the light's not as bright down here, but you can get way more pictures without having people tripping over each other trying to get the best shots, and you can really enjoy the art that much more because then obviously people aren't covering all of it. So come check this place out. It's really cool, like free thing to do in Melbourne.
So about to pass is one of Melbourne's trams, which the tram system here is unique because it's actually the oldest tram system in the entire world. There are approximately 200 miles worth of tracks, and several hundred trams can be operating at once on these tracks, which is pretty crazy to think about. And in certain parts of the city, in the inner city, closer to the center, you can actually ride the tram for free, which is obviously awesome. All right guys, so we're signing out for now, but we'll show you more after a quick outfit change.
And so guys, we just changed our clothes here, and fast forward a couple days, we are getting ready to show you more of this amazing city of Melbourne here. But first, what we did actually yesterday, we didn't share with you. We're just gonna give you a small snippet and we'll have the link to the video down below in the description. But what we did yesterday for the full day is the Great Ocean Road tour. So we paid about $65 US to take about a 12-hour tour all the way around the Great Ocean Road and stop at some of the top highlights you can do around there. So it was really an amazing time. And the one we did, I'll also leave a link in the description below, because it actually went the reverse route where most of the other tour companies go, which was really great because it beat a lot of the crowds. Whereas if you go the normal route, you'll have so many tourists just constantly fighting over who can get the best photo. So doing the reverse route, I would highly recommend. There's still, of course, going to be people there. It's not the only tour company that does the reverse route, but at least you get a little bit more of your secluded feelings in some of these beautiful areas on the Great Ocean Road. So link below, $65 per person. Highly recommend it, and it'll pick you up early in the morning around 6:55 a.m. and drop you off right at sunset, at least at sunset here in January while we're visiting. And so guys, definitely check them out. But now we're going to keep going with the Melbourne tour and show you guys what else there is to do in this beautiful city.
So as I was doing my research on things to do here in Melbourne, this jail kept popping up, and it was like, okay, it's a jail, which, I mean, cool, maybe kind of creepy, but like it literally was popping up everywhere. So I was like, okay, we have to check this place out. Turns out it's actually right across the street from where we're staying while we're here, so that was nice and easy. But so today we are actually going to do the jail experience. They have a lot of things. You can tour like the cell area, and you can do a guided tour, which is about 30-40 minutes. That's what we're about to go do. And then you can go to the courtroom where a lot of Australia's deadliest criminals were tried. And then you can also get the experience of being arrested. I've never been arrested before personally, but sounds like today it's gonna happen, and I probably shouldn't be excited about it, but apparently they take you through the whole process and it's really interactive. And so we are really excited to check it out, and let's go get arrested.
So guys, we just finished up doing the gold tour here in Melbourne, and this one was a lot of fun. We started out in the first part of it by getting a guided tour. You can pay like $5 Australian additional to get a guided tour, which I think we would absolutely recommend. Especially the guy we had was an amazing storyteller. I didn't even take this camera out the whole time he was speaking, because I was like, I just want to fully focus, and then we would share some of these stories with you guys after. It was very cool because he went into detail to talk about kind of the history of the prison, when it started in the 1800s, and he gave us some facts that just really blew your mind. And I think the one that blew our mind the most, or at least mine personally, was the 6-month-old baby. This was the youngest person that was put in jail for 6 months. To be honest, you'll actually have to go to the jail tour to know why this happened. But yeah, a 6-month-old baby, couldn't even talk, was locked up in jail for 6 months. How crazy is that?
Arrested, went through the whole court process, all that, and then put in jail.
Order! Order in the court! Guilty as charged. And then they went on and explained us a few more cool facts about the jail. They showed us like inside how small these cells were, and they told us like, basically you're in quarantine in this black dark cell that's probably 5 foot by 8 foot for a total of 23 hours per day, and only 1 hour per day you get to leave there. And so just an absolutely crazy way to understand what life was like back then, especially as a prisoner, and how easily you could get locked up too. It was kind of ridiculous what some of the charges were for some people. So currently locked inside of this jail cell. It is creepy. We're on the 2nd level though, so the jail cell, I guess, is a little bit bigger and a little bit nicer. But wow, it is literally probably 5 feet by 8 feet wide, so there's not much room to hang out in here. Oh.
So I think my favorite prisoner, just as a quick side note, would be the same as our tour guides, and her name was Beatrice. And she got arrested like the first time when she was maybe in her mid-20s, and then the last time when she was in her mid-60s, like 2 months before she died. She got arrested 222 times or something. So on top of the jail, you can also visit the magistrate's court. The original one isn't there anymore, but they've built one in its place, and that location is where some of the most infamous trials took place, or have taken place, in Australia's history. For one adult is 28 Australian dollars, and then you can add, just as Mac was saying, the guided tour for an extra 5 Australian dollars. $30, so not too bad. But so the last thing that comes included with the ticket is you can get arrested. So basically they have this actress or actor who comes out and pretends to arrest you. They give you a rap sheet with what you did, and then they ask you questions, they search you, and then they put you in a jail cell and they turn the lights out, and it was a really fun, cool experience. Would definitely recommend it. Overall, took about 3 hours. The guided tour was about 45 minutes. The magistrate's court was about 20 minutes, and then the getting arrested was about 30 minutes. So overall, if you want to explore the jail some a little more on your own time, the tickets last, you know, all day, and you can really just explore and spend a few hours there. It was really, really fun. It was a great time.
And so guys, a few more key points to add in about the beautiful city of Melbourne is we did a dinner cruise, and it was about 3 hours long, unlimited booze and food, and it was such a beautiful night to go because it was kind of cloudy at first, a little bit rainy, and then it turned into these unbelievable pink skies on the city skyline, just cruising through the river. So definitely something to do, a little bit more expensive, but I would say definitely still worth it, especially if you want to do like a date night. And we actually went down and stopped over at the St. Kilda beach, where they have those iconic houses that are painted in a bunch of different colors. So that was pretty cool to see. A trip to Melbourne is not complete without visiting the bathing boxes here. So there are these sheds all lined up along the coast here, painted in different colors. And they're really unique because you can rent them out apparently for a pretty expensive price. And they don't have any electricity or anything, but you're right on the beach, so pretty cool experience. That St. Kilda area, you can do so much there. And also in St. Kilda, you can go at the sunset and you can see all the penguins come back. So we did that one of the nights. It was a bit too dark for me to grab any footage, but just as an FYI, that's really cool to see the penguins kind of come in at the evening. And then also on one of the days, we spent a full day taking a 3-hour road trip down to Wilson's Prom. And basically what that is it's the furthest southernmost point of Australia, where you have these beautiful hikes and mountains you can do. And we had such a nice day, and we did it with a couple friends and totally had a blast doing it. So if you have the time, take the day trip on down there and you'll be able to see some more of Australia's beautiful natural landscapes. And so guys, that pretty much wraps up this video. There are so many things you can do in Melbourne. We spent about 5 days doing all these things, and we had an absolute blast. Honestly, I wish we would have stayed a little bit longer so we could explore more of what Melbourne has to offer. But so much fun, and I'm hoping to come back to Melbourne soon. If there's anything you guys recommend, put it down in the comments below, and that will make sure that anyone else that's going to Melbourne will be able to do some of the things you guys recommend too. So thanks so much for watching. If you guys want to see more videos like this, we're going to be having a few more in Australia that go in depth on Wilson's Prom and the Great Ocean Road. And then after that, we're going to be heading to New Zealand. So we'll see you guys in the next video.